live, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a wonderful, wonderful lady. Thank you for being here in our wellness hub. My name is Monica Campana. And today we have, again, it's the second time that we have this beautiful guest. Her name is Bonnie Surie, all the way from Tennessee. And she is a spiritual and personal development mentor who is going to, today we have a treat because she's going to talk to us about self-image. And not many people talk about self-image. And so Bonnie, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, and let's dive into this topic of self-image.
Okay. I have been in the personal development world for 10 years now. The first 5 years of that was just self-discovery, complete self-discovery. Didn't really realize that it existed. But then I realized that there was a huge passion that I had for it as well. But not until recently, about a year ago, it was actually August of last year, when I decided to really brave forward, if you will, and integrate some of my spiritual gifts and teaching into the mentoring, which allowed me to really begin working on the whole person in mind, body, spirit, and understanding energy, and really helping my clients connect with a greater version of themselves, really the freest version of themselves. So since August, I've started to be more transparent in that area and share my experiences and help my clients open up their own as well. And I'm doing both now. So I'm really excited about going into this new year, being my first full year doing the spiritual aspect of personal development and being able to focus on that along with intuitive readings and stuff like that. So
that's wonderful. And what is that? So let's dive into this topic of self-image. What is self-image?
So self-image is a funny thing, and it's we have different versions of ourselves that we present to each event and circumstance in our environment all the time. So we're really kind of shuffling through our self-image, but really ultimately our self-image is how we perceive ourselves as an identity, if you will, from the outside, but also from the inside. So they say we have two self-images, the one that you show to the world, and then you have the self-image that's more personal, the one you see when you look in the mirror, and there's this depth and inner side to that version of you.
So you have basically, because sometimes I believe that we have different hats, right? We wear different hats according to the person that we have in front of us. And we should really have, I guess, less and less hats. We should have one hat, but it's so hard to do that.
Well, that's a really interesting way to look at it, but it's true, depending on who we're with and the version of us that we're behaving as for whatever circumstance that we're in. So we usually have a lot of hats. I think that it would be a really interesting experience to actually see somebody who's incredibly consistent with their one hat and that version of themselves that they present all the time, just so consistently. I'm sure it happens, but I don't believe that it's absolutely an easy thing to achieve.
I know. And so what is your advice for people to have a better self-image?
To have a better self-image? Well, I believe to really grasp this fully, it's important to realize the images in your mind that you entertain, how they actually affect your overall body language, your emotional state, which, your energy. And so have you ever heard that quote, you can't outperform your self-image?
Yes.
Yes. This is incredibly true because your body follows the mind. So whatever images you're creating and playing with up there, the body is responding by altering your emotional state, your energy. And so let's just say you have an interview coming up for something that you've always wanted to do, but you're really nervous about it. And every time you, sorry, I have a little thing that keeps jumping up over here. But every time you think about this image, you get really nervous about it. And you're thinking about the interview, and you see yourself in this interview, and you're stumbling over your words and just saying all the wrong things. And in your mind, you see yourself and you've just completely blown it. But notice that just by having that image, this isn't actually even happening, but just by having that image, how your body responds to that image, again, because the body follows the mind. So notice that your shoulders, it affects your body language. Your shoulders slump forward, you kind of, your chest falls, you begin to feel like dreadful, that nervousness increases, there's frustration, and then self-talk starts to come in. And the self-talk is really going to reveal to you what your current beliefs are about yourself and your ability to do things. So you say things like, I can't do this. I'm just going to, completely blow it. I'm going to humiliate myself. And this intensifies, those feelings intensify, that image intensifies. You're pretty sure that it's really going to happen. Now you feel overwhelmed and you begin to take action or behave a certain way. And let's just say, to some people, extreme circumstance, they'd be like, fine, I'm just not going to do the interview. So this all started with that mental image that you had of yourself in your mind. The body was affected, and because of that image, your body posture changed, your self-talk changed, that revealed your beliefs, your behavior, the way you took action actually affected your overall outcome. But realize that it was not the original, image that you had of yourself. That original image was that excitement that got you to apply for the interview to begin with, right?
Exactly. So how do you, I mean, the first step, I think, is realizing that you're doing that.
Realizing that there are two.
Being aware of the fact that your brain sometimes, many times, most of the times, creates a reality that it's not going to be there, or like visualizes the wrong thing, and stopping. And what is your technique? What is your tip in that case? Changing, I mean, realizing that you're doing that and replacing.
So realizing there's
positive.
There's always a supportive side of us and a side that's really destructive. And I think that the greatest thing you can do is to be able to, what I have my clients do is to identify and completely accept that there are these two versions of yourself. And as you begin to entertain the image of yourself and develop, just practice playing around with this new image of yourself. So for example, in that example I gave you, when you originally applied for that interview, you had this mental image of yourself actually already doing the thing you wanted to do, right? Your chest was up, you were excited, your shoulders back, you were feeling confident, and the beliefs that matched that image started to rise. Like, I can't do this. Oh my gosh, I'm actually doing this. I was made for this, right? And you took a behavior, you had action as a result of that energy, which caused you to apply for the interview and to have that scheduled. So it was just, it's really just being able to say, okay, so what is the outcome I want? And who do I need to be able to have that outcome? And I'm not saying who do I need to be, like I need all this time for personal growth. I'm saying, who do you need to be in here first? Because that's going to adjust your energy, the way you behave, your body posture, your self-talk. It's going to bring up a lot of supportive beliefs that you can develop about yourself. But most importantly, of course, It's going to cause you to stop and to see that situation you want to experience and see yourself in that situation. So you create a new mental image of yourself, this self-image, if you will, in your mind first.
That it's positive and it's a winner and it's you know
Yeah,
well,
it supports what it is you want. And if it's wanting this new job, if it's wanting the courage to do something, instead of seeing yourself in your mind as somebody who's timid, unable, as a failure, or using past experiences to try to predict the future, um, yeah, you're going to really decide, who do I need to be in here? And not this huge time gap of personal development and growth, but here, who do I need to be? And let's create an image in my mind of that version of me.
that's wonderful. Yeah, that's a very good tip. And so that's one tip. And what other techniques you have or you apply, for example, in your life to silence that negative criticizing voice that sometimes, I mean, we get inside our brain.
Sometimes
Um,
it really is a challenge to switch gears, if you will. And through work, that practice of being able to be aware of the way you're feeling and the way you're reacting to everything around you, through practice of that awareness, you're able to go inward more quickly and say, okay, what do I need right now? What is it I actually need right now? And a lot of times it's just that opportunity to step back, mentally clear space, and just to be there and to see yourself differently here. Now, something that I used to do at the very beginning of this, when I had a really hard time actually creating positive images of myself, but I did enjoy writing. And if my clients ever watch this, they will tell you that writing is a big part of our experience. So for those who are having a more challenging time, seeing a more positive, supportive mental image, that self-image in their mind, begin writing about the character that you see or want to be. So sometimes you have to go back just a little bit further and say, okay, so what experience is it I want? And you write about that experience as if it's already happened, right? And as you read the writing, images form in your mind. So suddenly you're able to see this movie playing out in your mental theater here, and you're aware of a character, a version of yourself in that mental image. And then I have my clients connect with that image and say, okay, now describe that character, write about that character, observe that character. And as they begin to read that, they begin to see themselves as that character. So it's kind of embodying a version of yourself. It's really embodying a version of yourself that you're able to read. And it really helps to be able to really get clarity and a more crisp image, if you will, of yourself. And at first it feels silly, but the more you do it, the more easy it is, and that you don't need the writing aspect anymore, whereas often. So that's also a really helpful tool.
wow, that's wonderful. And this is how you basically you can yeah visualize the version of yourself that you want to reach.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And let's go back to self-image then. Other other things. I mean, about what would you say that that is one of the most important things that you should do to improve your self-image?
So one of the most important things you should do to improve your self-image, um, accepting where you are right now, just completely, deeply accepting yourself, realizing that you can't change anything about the characters and the versions of yourself that you were while you were growing and unfolding into the version you are now. So getting rid of that resistance and just saying, okay, it's me, it's right here, it's right now. What do I want from myself? and being able just to really be transparent and raw and honest and take that accountability every I would say every step of the day, but just throughout the day, just be so aware of yourself. Um, I see a lot of my clients at the beginning where they really just want to push through this experience, the journey, the growth aspect, just to get to that tangible end result. But really, that end result is just like an extra reward. It's the journey, really, that is necessary that we're looking for. We're looking for that development. So, truly just honoring that growth, being patient with yourself, compassionate with yourself, and just what do I need? Do I need accountability? Do I need to practice having better images? Do I need to take full responsibility for the way I react and respond? But that really unfolds into a lot of other aspects, but truly just being so compassionate with where you are right now with yourself.
Yeah, and not being so. Sometimes people want to see results right away, and
Yes.
you can't with this type of change within yourself, right?
Yes.
It takes time. And let me see. A wonderful. What else I was gonna ask you, and it just went away. But oh yes. Do you meditate? Do you use some type of do you do some type of meditation, or what exercises do you do?
Okay. So
Mental.
mental health exercises. I know that for my mental health and my stability, I know that I need exercise to any type of exercise. So I do a lot of strength training or cardio, but as far as meditation goes, I don't do the traditional, what you would see. I believe that meditation is a very, um, just that you time. It's a personal experience.
Personal.
So it's,
Yeah.
yes. And but it's open at the same time, but it's whatever works for you. So I enjoy practicing different breathing exercises. Um, I, I'm not, I don't do yoga, but I play around with yoga. So I can't say that they correlate too much, but I do breathing, I do visualizing, I do a lot of visualizing, practicing seeing energy in my body, expanding, feeling it outside of me, and letting it go outwards, and just really paying attention to the way my body feels and the frequency, right? The tingly, and that's when you get real excited. But I always do it at the beginning of the day, because when you can set your energy at the beginning of the day, it really affects the quality of the work and effort you do throughout the day, because you just have a different, you're literally working with just a greater energy version of yourself.
Hmm.
So yes, I
And
do.
and you start like early, like you wake up. You have kids. You have many kids. How do you do it? And you have a house. I mean, you wake up and
I get up at 4. I'm a 4 a.m.er.
you wake up at 4 o'clock in the
I
morning.
do.
At what
Now,
time do you go to bed?
well,
Do
anywhere.
you go to bed? Do you sleep? I mean,
Oh, I do sleep. I love my sleep. Yeah, I usually go to bed between 8:30 and
you go to bed
9:30. I'm
early.
not a night owl. It's
Oh.
unusual for me to be awake.
But 4 o'clock, I've never heard of 4 o'clock. Okay, so that's why you manage. So you wake up and everybody's still asleep, and
It-
then and
yeah,
then you do this every day. Do you have the discipline? Because that's the
I-
other thing that I think some people, you have to have the discipline of when you decide to do something, you have to do it every day.
so that's really interesting, because discipline, I think, is absolutely true. But we use the word have to a lot. And I think naturally we kind of resist that push, because it makes you feel like you don't have free will, right?
Yeah.
So I like to kind of use the words I get to. I get to do this for myself. I get to learn more about my secret powers. I get to learn more about cultivating my spiritual gifts. I get to learn more about this body that I'm in for this time being. I get to learn how to manipulate the way my body feels and the quality of my ideas and thinking. So it is a willingness to see the gratitude and the gift and the opportunity of really realizing just how absolutely brilliant and fantastic you are.
Wow. Yeah, I used the wrong word. Okay. So so I get to. But so and you do it when you feel, and according to how you feel the day, you choose the different techniques. That's
Yes,
what I,
sometimes breathing, I don't feel the connection to breathing. Sometimes I'm not feeling the connection to uh, the visualization. So sometimes I'll just do a really, really intense journaling. I'll put on like really powerful music, instrumental music, and just journal, just get everything out that I've thought about, that I've been feeling. And it's really just this really lightening experience. You really feel your body become light, and
letting go and letting go.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
I agree 100%. You know, I used to write a lot. Now lately, I'm still writing, but not, not journaling. And there is a difference between typing with a computer and writing with your hand and a pencil or a pen on paper. There's a connection between your brain and your body and your hand, and you. It's as if you really let it out, I think. While
Yeah.
when you have
Well, you
the keypad, it's a little bit different to me. What do you think?
100%, because your senses, your physical senses, most of them are activated. You've got the you've got touch, right? You're feeling the paper, the pen or pencil. You've got the sound of that movement, your hand across the paper. You've got the visual aid of seeing those words, right? You have the emotion that tends to come up as a result of the release of whatever you're talking about. So there's excuse me, there is a lot of your senses being stimulated as a result of writing. My clients will tell you that I'll never create a fillable PDF for them because I don't want them to do it. I've had them ask, do you have a fillable version of this? I'm like, print it out, print it out. It's such a more empowering, impactful experience. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, you're like me. I'm like, I have all these books, and I'm like, oh, you can buy it online, the book and ebook, whatever. But there's a difference between touching the book and reading it on a screen. I don't know. It's different. And same thing when you're writing.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow, that's wonderful. Well, Bonnie, we have to wrap it up, but at the same time, I don't want to. I want to continue. Let's leave it open because it's so interesting. You know, we always um, get into a new world and with you, and I think we are going to post all the information about your contact and where can people reach you. So you have one-on-ones, right? One-on-ones, and you have some books
I do
also.
one-on-one single sessions where we can do some intuitive reading, use a lot of the spiritual work for an alignment, realign your energy to match your goals. So there's so much less resistance. So we could work on different packages for the mentoring that I do provide as a service.
Absolutely. And they can reach you through the website or email, right?
Yeah, on my website at the bottom, you'll be able to fill out a form to get in touch with me right away. You can find me on LinkedIn. And I'm just, a lot of my work is word of mouth. A lot of my work is referral, which has really been a great, fulfilling experience. So,
Wow. Bonnie, well, I send you lots of good energy your way, and thank you again for being here, and to be continued. We have to continue these great conversations, and people can find you on the. They just have to click on the post below. So thank you again, everyone, and until next time. Ciao, mwah, everyone.
bye.